Hello and welcome. It is Thursday afternoon and I've snuck downstairs to do a bit of sneaky weeknight sewing. So I am working on my Roxy's Journal Stitchery today and a little bit behind, but that's okay. So today I have just put this little piece together for the autumn colours prompt. I struggled with this a bit. I don't know why. I think I overthought it really. So I threw everything out that I was already doing and just went back to what I know and pulled together this beautiful old piece of quilt that came from Mum's friend Lynn that had been framed as a picture, but that is now being used by me. So I've cut that up because it's perfect. It's all these old browns and reds and this little sort of bit of faded blue. And then I have just cut some bark cloth pieces, these old sort of very 70s autumnal pieces, a little bit of fabric here, this sort of 30s fabric. And then this arrived today from Nairi. So thank you so much, Nairi. She sent me a package of wonderful things. And as soon as I saw this, I had inspiration for autumn colours, which was something that I was struggling with. So thank you. So I've cut this from a needlepoint length that she sent that was only partially finished. And I cut out this tree and then this fabulous bit of green with the little house and lovely. So I've stuck that in there with some of my world famous gold trim that I seem to use for everything. Some beautiful old dyed, this is actually off a tester off a cot that was my auntie's, I think. So I've got a big piece of this that I've tea dyed, some whatever that is, bit of ribbon, and then some of this beautiful old red French fabric to balance the reds. This lace I picked up from an op shop not long ago. So this is me pinned down, so I thought I'd just say hello and you could sew with me while I put this together this afternoon. I'm hoping to get this done in the next little bit of hour, well, the backing stitching anyway. So I've gone through my ribbons, my silk ribbons, my little stash, and found all these beautiful autumnal sort of colours. I don't have any plans for them yet. I'm just kind of gathering bits and pieces. And then I've gathered these from my DMC threads. So they're all there. Whether I use any or all is a bit open at the moment. So first thing I'm going to do is actually just stitch all of this backing down and then have a look how much extra colour and embellishment I want to add. I think I will probably embroider the words autumn colours on here somewhere so that it kind of gives the piece some sense, makes some sense. Otherwise, it's kind of just a little bit random, but that's okay. I do random. I'm big on random. I hope you're having a good week. Thank you to everyone who's visited my channel. I'm very excited. I've got lovely people messaging me and commenting, and some people saying, oh, I wanted to try it, but I was a bit intimidated, and look how easy it is. Thank you. So it is. It really is very easy. There's no rules. It's a very friendly community. We're very open and attest to that just by the generosity of people. I think people are very happy to share their ideas because, you know, at the end of the day, a rising tide lifts everybody. And if you can find a hobby that you love and it gives you pleasure, then please join in with us. So this is a really old piece of bark cloth curtain. I'm not even sure where I got it. A couple of years ago, I got a couple of those really big stripy bags that you get like at Crazy Clark's or wherever, the $2 ones, full of curtain fabric from a young woman who was clearing out her grandma's stuff. And her grandma had been a curtain maker and a kind of dress, like a proper dressmaker, like a bridal dressmaker. And in there were just some real treasures, as you can imagine. A heck of a lot of lace curtains, which I still have in a bag somewhere, that I did intend to make a whole heap of like little veggie bags when you go shopping for your veggies. And I think I made two and lost interest because it was all a bit boring, but you know, they're still there. If I ever find the urge deep within myself again, you know, I think I have probably 500 meters of recycled lace curtains. So if you're someone who could use some of those, let me know and I'll send you some because I have heaps of it. And this bark cloth curtain was in one of the big bags of her stuff. There's a couple of real treasures in there. One was a half finished, well, probably 3/4 finished rag rug, but it was done on knitting needles with 3 knitting needles. So that again is in my, other people's unfinished projects pile, because my own unfinished projects clearly aren't enough. This is so lovely and soft, this piece, because it's this gorgeous old bit of cutter quilt that's been tea dyed. I think Mum's friend Lynn had it in a frame for 4 years, so it's lovely and faded, and is just perfect for this prompt. So it has found a new home. Well, part of it anyway. It was probably a little bit bigger than double the size of this. So I'm just at the moment using a quiet colour just to blend into the background. And then once I've got everything down, I'm going to have a look at what I want to do. Having said that, I think I will just do some crosses down the side here, some X's. Ooh. I'm just going to do a few little X's. My phone's ringing. I'm just going to ignore it at the moment. There you go. Sorry about that. I do tend to just let those things go while I'm down here. So sorry if that was noisy. We're on wireless at the moment, and I was listening to an audiobook a bit earlier, so I think I still went through that speaker. So that's what you heard. But I am prioritising my little bit of stitching at the moment. They're just some really simple crosses. I'm not trying to make them the same size. In fact, I'm absolutely not trying to make them the same size. If anything, I'd like them to all be a little bit different, and a bit crooked and a bit wonky. I love a good bit of wonky. So funnily enough, the little note that Nairi put in with her gift said, I hope these things inspire you. And they absolutely did. As soon as I saw this, I went, oh, finally something that I can trigger me to make a start on this autumn colours. This one is, and I think there's a mossy floor and autumn birds. Let's have a look. Okay, so that is that bit. So that's all quite safely down. I can take out some pins, which I like to do. I'm going to probably go under the red and just continue with this gold to put the gold down, just because I don't necessarily want the red to show the gold. So I'm going to go here so that I still get a sticky up bit, if you know what I mean. So in case I want to either make it look sticky up, or if I want to tuck something under. I've seen some fabulous ones of these online. It's really inspiring just how differently everybody approaches these. I think everyone's so generous about sharing ideas again, and very, very positive and supportive of each other. At the end of the day, if you like it, then you do it. Okay, so I'm just probably going to follow this thing up here just because I don't want it too loose. I'm just going to go over the top of that. I'm just going to drop into the gold, so you won't really see this part of my stitching. We just bring on there. I'm kind of just literally holding it in place. I'm going to continue along under the red of that stream. And so I have probably laid out this panel twice before this, and both times pinned some stuff down and just could not get it to something that I liked. And then as soon as I saw this piece today, I went, okay, I'm good. I know what to do with that. So it's funny how sometimes that works, isn't it? You see something and you're like, okay, good, I'm off. The mossy forest is a bit of a challenge. Mossy forest floor, that's the next prompt that I'm going to be doing. Although I do think that I missed summer blooms or summer blossoms, so I'll have to go back to that one as well. But I'm feeling a bit autumnal at the moment, so I'm going to go through and do all the 3 autumn ones before I go back to catch up on the summer one that I missed. I'm going to just skip that bit, and we need to just, oh, do I have one more stitch in me? I'm going to tie off here. Look at the back of that, how gorgeous is that? There. bit more of my thread. So I'm just reaching underneath here. This is a lot smaller than the panels that I normally work on, so I've been able to bring my phone a lot closer. I'm hoping that the audio is a bit better too. I have been struggling because I've had a fan on because it's very hot where I am. I have had the fan on earlier when I first came home from work, but I've turned it off now. I'm trying to just not drive you all nuts with the sound of a fan going off in the background. So I have just turned up the side of this, just rolled it over. It was a little bit big, so rather than cut it, I just rolled it up just to give it a bit more interest. And just because the back's gorgeous too, don't you think? So I hope you've had a good week at work if you are someone who is at work. I had a really big week so far with one day to go. I think, quite a few of us here on in the slow stitching world. I'm a teacher. So I had a fairly busy couple of days this week and one more day until the weekend. So I'm looking forward to 3 o'clock tomorrow when I can hang up my boots for a couple of days. Okay, so that's that bit down. That's good. I'm just going to let you back out. Rolled that up so that I could sew under him. Isn't that gorgeous? This is off a really old tester. It came from my cousin Jo from her mum. So I'm not sure. It's off a bed tester, but I'm pretty sure it's a cot one, like a really old cot tester. You know, they used to hang. So it's actually a really big piece. I've used a lot of it. My tea dyed half of it. But now I am here. This is where I am with my thread. You can see I did a bit of a dodgy thing there, but that's not going to fall off. So I'm just going to basically go up through here with this gold so that it gets lost, just so that everything is down. So I can take some pins out and then have a look at how I want to actually embellish the piece. So I'm going to sort of stitch along the fatter bit of this, just like this, just because it makes it easier for these stitches to get lost. I'm not trying desperately to hide things, but at this point I'm just going to stitch it down. It's not a stitch I will remove. It's not a basting stitch. It's strong enough to keep it down if I don't add any more stitches, but I find that it makes it hard sometimes with all the pins in it to see what you want to do. I like to get rid of them as soon as I can. And I'm loving this turned over bit. It's awesome. I'm just stitching again along the sticky up bit of the pattern. And I will probably go in later if I don't do any other stitching and just stitch, the broader parts of this down. I think if I don't end up doing anything more decorative. So I came home from work today and had a swim. It was super hot. I have an air conditioner in my room at school, and we've been having all sorts of trouble with the air conditioner, and it kept turning off, and we didn't know why. And we worked out that one of the students had worked out how to get into the back of the device out on the back of the building, and every time they walked past was flicking some switch that was causing problems. So thankfully we were able to solve that today, because it was incredibly unpleasant working without aircon, particularly with students. I have students in wheelchairs. It's very hot when you're in a wheelchair and your body, you've got no room to cool down, no room to, air getting around your body to help your body breathe. So turns out it was just somebody, a bit of a fetish to play with things. Okay, so what have I called myself over here? So it's funny, when I found this bit, I can't believe how easily this piece thing came together after I'd struggled. So it just shows you, if it's not right, just put it away for a bit and inspiration will find you. So I'm glad that I waited, that I didn't force myself to put together a piece that I just wasn't enjoying. So all I'm doing is that probably wasn't the best of that one, but I'm just going to run these horizontally along a dark brown one, just to blend them in. That's just, again, keeping this piece quite solidly in place. You really can't see it. Well, you can now because I've showed you, but, you know, generally speaking, I'm going to do that. And everyone, you know how much I love needle points and the texture that they bring. So I love that this was a half finished piece, and it was a beautiful picture of a lake. I'll put a photo up on my Instagram of a lake and looks like an Austrian town and reflection of the town. And this part that was done was just perfect. So I will use, this is the reflection bit, look. So that's the reflection, the top part. So there was also this little tree which I played with for a while. I've actually folded up the rest and put it away, but so I will use all of it, particularly with the other 3 autumn prompts. Probably find that I will find a home for some of those other things. Mossy forest floor is a bit of a challenge. And some great ideas, but mossy forest floor. We do have a little bit of rainforest here in Bundaberg. We have a lovely botanic garden and they have a little rainforesty bit in there. But generally here we're kind of a bit more shrub, bushy than, like, you're out in the scrub rather than rainforest. So that wet forest floor isn't something that we have here. So I'm going to have to just kind of channel my inner coranda, or my, mossy forest floor somewhere in the German Black Forest or something, in the English forest. So this little bit, look how cute that is. So I'm actually just going to tuck him in there like that because I just love the colours, and this prompt is autumn colours. So the browns and the greens, and I think I like the blue that's here because it's like a grey autumn sky. So that's what I'm calling anyway. So that's, and this little bit of blue down here, I think that really works. Got one up through both of them. So a sneaky Wednesday night. I've had a swim. I get to do some sewing, just on dinner. Youngest son's off with his girlfriend at her house tonight, and middle child is at work, and eldest child is out on her own, living her life at her home, which luckily for me isn't very far away at all. I'm very lucky that all my kids are close at the moment. But it means that it's just Jeff and I for tea. Doesn't that make it easy when you're used to, having family dinners? All of a sudden there's 2 of you, and it's just, let's just have eggs on toast, perhaps, or, go and get 2 steaks, and it's just so easy. A bit quiet though. It's a bit of a transition, but everyone's happy and healthy, so that's wonderful. Okay, through there. Now I think pink can come out. That's stitched on. Well, I might do one there and then leave that just in case, again, I want to actually add something else. Where am I? I'm over on this side. And I just drop a stitch in this little bit here. Actually, you know what? Because I'm close here, you can see I'm actually just going to continue my stitching up into this little flower rather than lose half of it moving it over there. And back down the other way. I don't even know what you call this type of lace. This flower on top, obviously done with like a chain stitch and then sewn on. But it's gorgeous. I love it. I love that you can see through it, so you can make it something that's kind of a bit of a quiet background, or you can feature it. Right, so that's that bit done. I have another long gold bit. Gosh, it's very hot here. We're not home, the house is closed up. I have this door open and I have a big garage roller door kind of out there. It makes a massive difference, but when it's all been closed up, it's hot. So I probably will be having another swim before I go upstairs to have dinner. Oops, I completely missed that then, did I? Oh no. Yes, I did. Sorry, a bit excited. Okay, so now I'm going to start. Did I stitch that bit down? No. I'm going to actually bring that on top. I want that bit on top of there, like that. We're going to start here now for this one. I'm going to head up around the other side. Again, I put all my pins going one way so I can, grab and roll and fold it into the middle. Makes it a lot less prickly. I do tend to poke myself and bleed on things, so that really helps. If I do that, I can grab it quite safely. Again, I'm doing quite big gaps at the back for this, but this is not going to be worn and again, there's going to be plenty more stitches on top of this. This is just putting it in where I want it. It's like the first draft, I guess. I have been scooching around YouTube looking at some fabulous people around. There's so many talented people out there, really, isn't there? Where do you stop? I set myself a limit to being on YouTube at night, otherwise I look up and it's so late. I wait till I hop into bed and then I spoil myself and hop on, and I've been looking at Kate in the Nest. She just incredible, and Corinne's Treasures by Corinne as well. To Be Loved by Corinne, I think she's quite close to me here in Bundaberg too, somewhere. And both of those ladies have got all sorts of things going on. If you haven't checked them out, please do so. They've both been very generous as well and mentioning me in their videos. So thank you, ladies, for that. Dottie's by the Sea. She must be somewhere in the UK, and her stuff's just stunning. Some of these ladies are making quilts that are similar to my quilts, that are made with all recycled bits and pieces, but they're doing two sides at once. So they're kind of doing a backing at once at the same time, and stitching on the front, but at the same time making it work on the back. So they're using all sorts of bits and pieces and kind of finishing it as they go. It's very clever, and just some beautiful ideas are going on there, making those things very special. One of the ladies is reproducing her daughter's or her children's letters to her in embroidery on it, and it's beautiful. All right, I'm on a little stitcher. What did I do then? I got busy. Jeff just stuck his head around the corner to randomly give me some sort of signals in the air that I think meant he's going to rugby. So it might be just me for dinner, in which case it will be eggs on toast, which I'll be very happy with. Where am I up to with this? I'm probably going to go up now. So that's all on. Nothing's going anywhere. I'm going to go up and go along the top here. So I'm going to go here and then move it along. There I go. I might see how this is like caught in little bits. I think I might just, in order to support that a bit more, because it does tend to come unstuck, I'm going to just sew it across there like that, just to reinforce it, because I don't want it to come undone. I kind of came up in the middle, which is all right. I'm going to stitch in each of these along the way. So I'm going to just put a bit of a shout out and see if I can find anyone locally in Bundaberg, this sort of area, who's interested in this sort of stitchery. We do have a really lovely quilting group here, but there's no one there who is interested in this sort of thing that I do. And it tends to be a group of retired ladies who meet on weekdays, which is, I can't do that. So it would be really love to find a little crew of people who share the same hobby as me, so we could some creative time. So if you're in the local area, give me a shout. Send me a message. I'd love to meet up. I'm not a weirdo. I'm not going to stalk anybody. I think back to the days when we were scrapbooking and we had such a wonderful group of ladies, and we were just local ladies, and we used to just hire a hall once a month and go, and it was just such a great community. And we always learnt something. Usually we did a show and tell, and everybody shared what they were doing, and you always came away, certainly with a sense of community, but you always came away inspired in one way or another. So that's that bit down. I've actually just knocked my pin off there. Stick that back down. And again, I've got these little bits of red to balance the bottom, and I think this is actually the last of that beautiful bit of French red that my mum got me from, what's the name of the place in Tasmania? It'll come to me. She has her stuff online, and it's all beautiful old vintage. She just sells random bits, whatever she gets hold of. Right, where am I up to here? Right, I'm literally just going to jump back to here, because that's what we do in slow stitching. We just live on the edge. This is nearly done, the first layer. And see, you can just sneak in a half an hour or an hour here or there and still have a bit of a feeling that you're not just going to work and coming home every night. You need to feel something else. You need to have a bit of dopamine injected at this point of the term, that's for sure. I'm actually just going to go, this is folded, so what I'm going to do here is go underneath there and stitch that along. You continue that same stitch. We make it straight though, like I want it. Be good. Oh, it's so lovely and quiet. Okay, so this little bit, I probably just need to have a bit of a fiddle because it's gone a bit crooked. So this is just the folded over bit. I'm just going to run this bit of ribbon all the way so it's hanging off the edge. And I quite like things that are crooked or, too big, too small, off center. If that's not for you, that's absolutely great. You can do it however you like. Here's my dog. Hello. She's been at the beach today. She went up for Agnes Waters with my son and his girlfriend. So she's exhausted, which is a great way for a golden retriever to be. I don't know if anyone else there has a golden retriever, but exhausted is how you want your golden retriever. The way I see it, if she's not exhausted, then I am, because she will exhaust me, and that's the deal you have when you take on a golden retriever. So that is that bit. Oh, I'm really happy with that. So this bit here, I don't want to use, do I? I might just, let me have a think about that for a minute. I don't think I want another strong colour here. I'm just going to pull over some of these ribbons that I have, because I love these silk ribbons. Not that I can do anything particularly fancy with them. I just tend to, stitch them on. I love this beautiful old brown ribbon. I don't know if I'll be using that. Oops. So, I lost my needle there. Come back here. I wonder if I just, see, these stitches over here have just disappeared. It just becomes part of the fabric. I wonder if I just do something similar down here, because I can't see myself running a colour all the way up there because it doesn't balance it. The colour would need to be about here. Let's test the theory. Well, see, I could run red stitches. I've got these autumnal reds stitches. Let's live on the edge. Oh, do I want orange? No. What do you think? Orange brings me back to being very autumnal. That's what I'm after, autumnal. I've only got that sort of terracotta. It's not really orange. I think I'm going to go with the orange. Let's just go for it. Which one? What do you reckon? I don't use a lot of these. I tend to use crochet cotton. There's a train. Crochet cotton. I'm really impatient, and pulling these apart gets a little bit frustrated. But I've got a lovely stash of them, and I've got a lot more colours in these than I do. I think it has to be orange. Okay, we're going to go orange. I'm going to go the full 6 threads because I'm not pulling anything apart. And I want it chunky, so I'm going to do a big long one because you know how I roll. I love to have a much longer thread than is probably recommended because I hate threading needles. Let me just see if I can get all of these through my needle. I should probably tie that off first, shouldn't I? Let's just do that. Okay. Third one's a charm. Sorry. I've got stuff in my mouth. Let's find a needle that's going to work for these. It's going to work the first time. Come on. And it did. Look at that. I actually Googled best way to thread a needle not that long ago, believe it or not, because I'm just shocking at it. And it's really helped me. Okay, so I'm going to go chunky monkey all the way down there. I mean, let's go if we're going to have autumn colours. So I'm going to, am I going all the way? Yep, let's go all the way. I'm going to start here. I'm going to do big fat crosses, just that fold that over and also give some texture. It's funny when you think your cross is going to be really big and then you do it and it's not. You always got to go a lot further and a lot wider than you think. Right. I'm already loving this piece a lot more than anything else I've started for this prompt. So I received my Nordica and my Sagittarius quilt back in the mail this week. So they're home from their travels. Again, they have far more travels than I have this year. I don't know if I'll enter the quilt show again next year. I'll wait and see. It was lovely to have to see my work hanging. It was, I was feeling really privileged and very lucky to have my work chosen, but I don't know. I don't know. Think about it. All right. I would really like to spend some more time on the sorts of, particularly the sorts of sewing that I do. There's not really anything else in Australia that, there's nothing like the one that's in Nantes in France, where they have all those beautiful reclaimed textiles and fabrics. I mean, there's different destashes and, brocants and things, but there's no sort of textile sewing-y festival. So I feel like I'd rather build towards trying to travel to that one in France, or rather than spend money, because it's expensive to travel in Australia. It's really expensive, particularly when you live in regional Australia, regional Queensland. You can't fly direct from anywhere to anywhere from Bundaberg other than Brisbane. So our flights to Brisbane are generally, Bundaberg, Brisbane return, you're looking about $350, $400 before you even start, and that's a 45-minute flight. So, there's no such thing as a quick getaway for the weekend that's going to be cheap. And then you run the risk, because we only have one carrier that comes to Bundaberg, which is Qantas, and they cancel their flights all the time. I've been stuck in Brisbane overnight when I'm supposed to be at work. I've got work the next day, and it means you kind of got to plan your trip to come home earlier than you need to in case they decide to cancel your flight, which particularly the Sunday flights to Bundaberg, Qantas are famous for cancelling. But so for me to get to Melbourne and back, I mean, we had that cheap carrier for 2 minutes who flew direct from Bundy to Melbourne for, I think it was $139 each way. But to get to Melbourne back, I'm looking at nearly $1,000, $800. And if I want to put that towards a ticket to Europe, that's half a ticket to Europe for me. So I'm like, yeah, do I wanna? And I've been twice. It's been lovely, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll think about it next year. Okay, I'm really happy with that. That's good. That looks ridiculous. I aim for ridiculous. So what I do feel that I need to do now is have some more orange elsewhere, because I really don't have a lot of the orange happening elsewhere. So the orange things that I've pulled out, I did pull out this horrible thing. That was I don't even know what it was. I'll show you the middle of it. Hang on. This is what it looked like. I picked it up again at an op shop. Let me just move that so you can see. Look how absolutely hideous this is. I love it. And then these little guys were kind of all, in the middle. So I've cut them out. I've tried really hard to use them, but I just haven't been able to get them into a position that I could cope with. I can't even describe this to you. It is so awful. It's so awful that it's fabulous. When things go beyond horrible and come back to fabulous. So it's there. It's hovering around for my autumn prompts for Roxy, and I hope that I can find a way to feature that. I don't think it's going to go into mossy forest floors, but it may have a bird on it. I might be able to figure out how to, include it in the birds. So that's the start of that. Where am I up to? I might just stitch down these guys. Do I need some more orange? I mean, that's okay. And now that I look at it, I do have some orange. So that's actually worked out really well. I can take out some pins. What am I going to do with the ribbon, with the red lace, people? Am I going to stitch it down with red so that it just disappears, which at this stage I'm kind of want to do. Sorry, let me just reach through and grab this little thingy. See, that's not the right. Mind you, it disappears. This is more the, oh God, that's so red, isn't it? Which one? I think I'm going to use that one, even though it's not exactly right. So I'm going to stitch down my lace with the red. It's actually not even red. It's like capital R red. Red. Use the red lace. This is from some lace I got at an op shop, I think a couple of weekends ago in Bundy. And I always grab coloured lace when I find it, if it's not revolting. Sometimes it's revolting. But this lace is gorgeous. And I think I got 3 different reds that day in the same bag for a couple of dollars. So no landfill for you. Instead, you're going onto a random piece of stitchery about autumn colours. So again, I'm just going to do some stitches right through the middle of this to hold it down. And then if I decide I want to do something more to feature it, I can. You won't really see this at all. And you go across there like that. Take you out for starters. And again, I've just bunched this and pulled it backwards and forwards until I wasn't too careful about it. I just kind of sat it down there so it would look like it is random. It's amazing how hard random is, isn't it? Forward. So I've just put that little stitch through there and you won't see it so much because I don't necessarily want to see it. The other thing that I found when I was looking for things for autumn was the most awful pair of cafe curtains, which I think came from the same bags from the same lady. And wait till I show you, they are just hideous. And again, I've cut them up, but it's the wrong tone for the, not tone, it's the wrong style. They're very 70s, very retro, but in that 70s, Formica puce green and orange type of way. So I cut some stuff out. I'll show you those in a minute. I cut some stuff out of them, but they just didn't work with my beautiful quilted background here. I've actually made a couple of bucket huts out of them, and they look fabulous. Only there. Come off. And again, I'm just trying to keep the folds in place more than anything. So I'm just kind of stitching through where it's doubled up and where I want it to sit. So that alone will keep it all in place very nicely. I've tried something different with my microphone today. I've sticky taped it to myself because it does tend to move a little bit on my collar. So I'm hoping that that stops with that random buzzing that I seem to get. I'm very new to this, so I do apologise. I am trying to learn and get better as I go so that you're not sitting there listening to buzzing. Oh, my fan zooming past you. Okay, that's nearly done. And I'm just going to leave, I'm going to just do one little stitch here just to pull you back. And then I'm just going to leave the end of that open again in case I want to kind of make that finish a bit different, a bit differently. Okay. Alrighty, all my bits are down. No, they're not. I haven't done those. What shall I do to stitch these down? How about I use a bit of this beautiful ribbon? Have a look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I mean, autumn colours or what? Greens and then purples. I mean, not that we get autumn colours in Bundaberg. I have one tree that's, no, two trees that are deciduous. One's a mulberry and one is a tropical birch. So neither of them actually change colour, unfortunately. The only things that we have up here that change colour are liquid ambers, and they're not something you see a lot of. So I lived for many years in the UK and I loved the seasons. It's something I do miss living. I mean, we have lovely weather, but I do miss the seasons. I quite like winter. Growing up in Toowoomba, I guess we had seasons. All right, what am I going to do? I don't like that on there for starters. I don't really like any of these colours on there. Oh, what about brown? Brown? Would brown work? Look. Oops. And again, I know people do amazing things with these, and I have a couple of books that I picked up. See, I don't want the brown to be a feature though. I want this to be the piece that we're looking at. So I'm just going to reach under you, sorry. I think I'm just going to put some cream. I'm just going to stitch them down with a bit of cream. Again, so that the fabric is the hero, not the stitching for this one. Let's see if I've got a needle I'm not using. All the orange off that, I think. I'm liking the orange. I am not a fan of orange. I use it as a bit of a kicker in things, but I tend to put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on and go, yeah, no, and take it off. So I try really hard to like orange. I like it on other people and I like it in other people's work, but I just struggle to use it. So I'm literally just going to do a really straight stitch across here just to attach these and to free up my pins from my life. And then I'm probably going to call it quits for the night and go upstairs and search for a glass of wine and some dinner. So thanks for popping in on a weeknight. You got to find your time. Hey, you got to make time for the things you love. I've made a rule that I'm not allowed to come home and turn my phone on. I either now go into the garden or come down here. So some days I'm lucky enough to do both. Go into the garden and spend an hour, or come down here and spend an hour, and it makes such a difference. Like, that's 5 hours a week I can claw back doing things that I love and, filling my bucket and giving myself a little bit of dopamine. Now this had, lost a bit, this had this under it, now that I think about it, like that. And this bit had a little bit of this goldy coloured lace here. Let me just see if I like that now. Yes, I do. So I'm going to stitch this piece on and then just sneakily stitch that underneath. So I'm stitching on the cream on here. Again, the stitching's not the feature. I might just even seed stitch over this whole piece just in the cream, but that's too big a decision for me to make at the moment. So possibly, I'm just going to do that. Take the pin out, pop you underneath. I tried to fray this. It wouldn't fray because it's bloody nylon, but I'm going to make it look a bit wonky and old. tear it a bit. That's a bit better. I might just put him. I don't think I like that side as much, so no, yeah. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to hold him there, come up underneath here where you're not going to see it, and stitch that little bit of gold on. Orangey gold, orangey glad. So if we're in Queensland this term, we've actually got a random extra week of school, which is really frustrating. So normally we have 10 weeks. I mean, at some point, not that long ago, they realised that let's just make it the same every term, and that's fabulous. Good for the kids, good for us, good for everybody. And then once every however many years, for some reason, we have this random 11-week term, and Education Department, in all their brilliance, decided to make it the last term of the year, where you know, the kids, you know what the kids are like at the end of term, they are done. So we're going to do a random extra week just to make sure they're really, really done. So I'm certainly going to need these little snippets of filling my dopamine bucket to get me through to the end, I think. And if you've ever thought about being a teacher, now's a great time to be one, because we are so short of teachers. I'm going to do the same thing here. And there's so many roles. You can do early childhood, you can do primary, you can do... There's plenty of schools that do K to 10 or K to 12. My school is K to 12. Sorry, P to 12. We do prep, I guess, foundation, or reception, I think you call it in New South Wales, to 12. In a special school setting, I'm in a special school. So many different jobs you can do. You can work part-time if you want. You can pretty much choose your hours at the moment as a teacher. Okay, so that bit's on as well. For good luck. Okay. All right, that is all done. That makes me so happy. That is so much better than what I had before. Except now you should see my workspace. It is absolutely embarrassing. I'm going to grab this green fabric. Where did I put you? Green fabric. Oh, there it is. The retro curtains. Wait till you see these little suckers. They're pretty fabulous, but, you know, also horrible. Like only the 60s could. We have got fluoro together with brown. So, oh, look. So I've got some offcuts. How fabulous is it, though? I love it. So I have cut out a heap of these leaves, but they just didn't work on my previous piece. So I will see. They're here somewhere in a little pile next to me. I will see how I travel now that I'm much happy with it, and try it on this piece. So I've got that, and then I've had two full-size curtains, basically. And they've even got, do you remember these salt and pepper shakers? I actually physically remember them being in my house when I was a kid. And so, yeah, so this is fabulous. As I said, I've made a couple of bucket hats. Oh, there's one. I'll show you. Bucket hats out of it. Get them up. Sorry, buddy. So, shake from the dust. Look how gorgeous that is. That's one of my bucket hats. I'll just zoom out a bit. Can I? No. That I made, and it's lined with this other fabulous fabric that I got from the same bucket. So, you know, great as a fabric, not so good as a curtain. And those of us who love vintage love that. But trying to incorporate that into my piece for Roxy's just didn't quite work. So I'll put that away for another day. Thanks for stopping by. Hang on, let me just put my hat away. I've made a rule that I have to put everything away, but, you know, I've been a bit slack with that as well. So I'll finish with that. That looks great. I'm really happy with that. And I will come back and have a look at my ribbons and my threads, and I'm not going to put them on here. It's too much. Can you imagine that I've said too much? I do have this little bit of hanging off stuff as well. I did toss up, but I needed to pin it all down first, and it might even go over the top. So that's there. I've got these offcuts from a doily. I've got lots and lots of bits and pieces. I've got this fabulous apron with the crinoline light with the, you know, the little ladies. So I've got lots of treasures, lots of orange and browns and stuff. But I do kind of have to come around the block at it a few times to be able to be happy with it. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon.